Well, as far as presidential debates go, this was one of the better ones. Surprisingly, Democrat nominee Kamala Harris didn't provide her usual diet of word salads. I was looking for them. She was focused, and at times she was rather fearless. So much so, she charged over to Donald Trump's side of the stage at the start.
Kamala Harris. Let's have a good debate.
While Trump was sporting a new, younger-looking hairdo, did you notice that? The trademark forehead flap was gone. Kamala had her own tactic when her opponent spoke. She applied the laser beam stare, coupled with a dismissive shake of the head. Harris's weakness is clearly a lack of border security, and Trump didn't let up on that issue.
Because she has no policy. Everything that she believed 3 years ago and 4 years ago is out the window. She's going to my philosophy now. In fact, I was going to send her a MAGA hat. She's gone to my philosophy. But if she ever got elected, she'd change it. And it will be the end of our country. She's a Marxist. Everybody knows she's a Marxist. Her father's a Marxist professor in economics, and he taught her well. But when you look at what she's done to our country, and when you look at these millions and millions of people that are pouring into our country monthly.
The way she stared at Donald Trump was quite fanciful. But she did wind up as well over Donald Trump's criminal cases.
Well, I think this is so rich, coming from someone who has been prosecuted for national security crimes, economic crimes, election interference, has been found liable for sexual assault, and his next big court appearance is in November at his own criminal sentencing. So let's talk about what is important in this race. It is important that we move forward, that we turn the page on this same old tired rhetoric.
Excuse me. Every one of those cases was started by them against their political opponent. And I'm winning most of them, and I will win the rest on appeal. And you saw that with the decision that came down just recently from the Supreme Court. I'm winning most of them. But those are cases, it's called weaponization. Never happened in this country. They weaponized the Justice Department. Every one of those cases was involved with the DOJ, from Atlanta and Fani Willis to the Attorney General of New York and the DA in New York. Every one of those cases. And then they say, oh, he's a criminal. They're the ones that made them go after me. By the way, Joe Biden was found essentially guilty on the documents case. And what happened in my documents case? They said, oh, that's the toughest of them all. A complete and total victory. 2 months ago, it was thrown out.
Now, they fought hard and long over abortion, the economy, and, of course, energy policy. And when Harris ridiculed the Trump rallies, strangely enough, once again hitting at his narcissism, that sent Trump's temperature soaring.
And I'm going to actually do something really unusual, and I'm going to invite you to attend one of Donald Trump's rallies, because it's a really interesting thing to watch. You will see during the course of his rallies, he talks about fictional characters like Hannibal Lecter. He will talk about windmills cause cancer. And what you will also notice is that people start leaving his rallies early out of exhaustion and boredom. And I will tell you, the one thing you will not hear him talk about is you.
She said people start leaving. People don't go to her rallies. There's no reason to go. And the people that do go, she's bussing them in and paying them to be there, and then showing them in a different light. So she can't talk about that. People don't leave my rallies. We have the biggest rallies, the most incredible rallies in the history of politics. That's because people want to take their country back. Our country is being lost. We're a failing nation. And it happened 3.5 years ago. And what's going on here, you're going to end up in World War III, just to go into another subject. What they have done to our country by allowing these millions and millions of people to come into our country, and look at what's happening to the towns all over the United States. And a lot of towns don't want to talk. It's not going to be Aurora or Springfield. A lot of towns don't want to talk about it because they're so embarrassed by it. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country, and it's a shame. As far as rallies are concerned, is the reason they go is they like what I say. They want to bring our country back. They want to make America great again. It's a very simple phrase, make America great again. She's destroying this country, and if she becomes president, this country doesn't have a chance of success. Not only success, we'll end up being Venezuela on steroids.
And as they warmed up, Kamala gave her Republican opponent this personality assessment.
So many military leaders who you have worked with have told me you are a disgrace.
While Trump played the same card.
She's worse than Biden. In my opinion, I think he's the worst president in the history of our country. She goes down as the worst vice president in the history of our country.
That was always coming, of course. Trump was strong when repeatedly pointing out the weakness of Harris's promises because she failed to deliver those solutions over the past 3.5 years. That's always a strong point. And his closing, I thought, was very impressive, better than Kamala Harris's. But if Republicans were waiting for Harris to crumble verbally, which has been her trademark, by the way, it did not happen. She'd done her homework and gave as good as she got. I scored a tie.